Two technically. A third one got banished to another dimension.
Ah, that's right.
Yeah.
Nice.
So high level D&D, especially when I realized that combat ended up taking like, if not
a while,
half the session, the whole fucking session. And it wouldn't even be like, oh, like this is a medium encounter. It's still taking half the fucking session. Like,
I don't know if I have it.
I don't know. And they were only level 13. That's the other crazy thing. They were only 13.
Well, I mean,
and we were having this issue.
If you're dealing with high,
I also technically had a big group. That's the other thing. I have a big group.
This is true.
So
You did have a big group.
I had six players, 7 players at this time.
With the more standard 4-player situation, the pacing I've generally, because in our last session, my players did 4 combats in a session, right? Yeah,
oh wow.
3 or 4.
What was that?
How many combats you guys do? Like 3, right? Last session?
Encounters
In the dungeon? Like 3, I think.
Yeah, because it was the 2 goobers that in the first room.
No, it was forge room. Forge room, downstairs,
forge room,
hallway,
downstairs, hallway,
library,
and the prayer room.
Yeah, so 3. Oh, and the 4. Yeah, 4. The prayer room too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 4. So yeah, my players did 4 fights in a session. One of which they ended a little bit prematurely because bad guys gave up.
To be fair though, like we do a comical amount of damage.
Well, I don't think it has anything to do with that so much as it's just a case of when you're doing if you're doing hard or deadly encounters a lot, yeah, fighting's gonna take forever. But if you break things up into lots of small, easy encounters, things do tend to be quite a bit snappier. And I think the main reason for that is just because like most of the monsters you guys fought last session were CR5 and down, with a couple of small exceptions. Like one of the purple dragon dude was the mastermind. I think is like maybe CR9. But yeah, so like if you break it up, you break your encounters up across the smaller stuff, it seems to be way less of a thing. And I think that it's just one of those things. I feel like what I've noticed is just that the intended balance, or not balance, the intended flow, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
is really supposed to be wearing players down over a period of time with a bunch of small things and then bigger fight. But most people don't run it that way. And most people go kind of overboard into the Then
we throw a deadly encounter and then a hard encounter, then a deadly encounter.
Yeah, right. Yeah, basically, yeah.
And then 2 medium encounters back to back.
And it becomes a thing where it's like, yeah, of course you're going to feel like the fighting. Because the other thing, too, about monsters, whoa, I just whacked the shit out of my mic. The other thing about, like, encounter balance and stuff is when... Oh, hold on. Train of thought needs to reorganize itself. Pause. Yeah, okay. When you're dealing...
there go my thoughts.
No, I was just out. They were jumbling on top of each other. When you're dealing with high level 5e, right? Because of the relatively... I don't want to say flat, because that's not quite the right word, but it's the word everybody uses, so whatever. The relatively flat math of 5e, right? The fact that a CR half goblin could potentially hit a level 15 fighter, right? Right?
Yeah.
Because of the sort of relatively flat math of D&D, what happens is when you get into higher level D&D, those easy and medium encounters will involve CR 3 to 5 enemies, right? Oh, by the way, the Draconian Mastermind is actually lower than I thought. He's only CR 6.
Yeah.
And like the Draconian mages, which my players also fought, were CR 2, and my players are level 15, right? You still get usage out of those lower CR guys. So what ends up happening is when you have higher level players and you're doing easier encounters, you're using simpler monsters, so it makes things a lot snappier.
Yeah.
You know, like I think that is supposed to be the intended flow, and that's part of the reason they did the flat math is so you could use lower CR dudes for easier encounters.
It definitely does seem to be like weighing that way for sure.
Yeah, I mean, literally, like the Draconian Mastermind dude is CR6. The Dragon Speakers in the library were CR2. The Dragon Mages are CR2.
Wait, hold on. Hold on. Back up. Hold on. There are dragon people in your setting, and you would not let me be a Dragonborn Druid?
We weren't allowed to play them.
Okay.
Yes, they're not allowed to play them. Also, no, there's not dragon people in my setting. There's experimented humans turned into dragon people.
Damn it.
This isn't like, there aren't like dragon people walking around.
I'm fucking.
So yes, but no. The Dragon Chosen are CR3, right? Which were like the primary bulk enemies you guys were fighting. So, you know, pretty low relative to the player levels, but it works because that's the intended like attrition system.
Yeah.
That was a really
Also-
long detour, but anyway, yeah.
Well, I will just ask Isaiah, how did you like fighting those guys? Was it fun when they exploded? Because my players despise that.
My players
Well, so
also
they
complained
exploded to
about the
poison.
exploding.
So
Well,
I'm
no.
playing a Warforged.
Well, no. So one of them exploded into poison. The other guys exploded into force. The Draconian Mastermind was also supposed to explode, but I forgot.
Fair enough. I only got hit by one of them, so
Oh, that's good.
I went, okay. I have health for this.
One of my players did. Oh, it was Sam. Was like, what is with all the fucking exploding?
I genuinely thought it was you getting back at him for the snakes. I like
No, they actually
every fiber
no.
of my being was like, this is for this fucking zombie snake thing, isn't it?
That would be
It's-
funny, but no, they explode.
No, it's a natural
Damn it.
thing.
I
Even
like
in
mine
old
better.
Dragonlance adventures,
Yeah.
it's a thing that Draconians do.
Explode.
But it's also a thing that 5e specifically is starting to do with a lot of like newer monsters.